Hello everyone, Lisa here with Lisa Capen Quilts, and I am in the process of doing a new t-shirt quilt. I came upon this shirt as part of the group of shirts that I'm working with, and I thought I would share along some of the tips that I use to include logos that are very close to the edge of your shirt, like in a tank top. So I would like to include this whole logo in a larger square, and you can see I'm going to run into some issues on the neckline here and in the sleeve area because I want to make this an 18-inch square. That means I'm going to have some empty spaces here that I need to fill in. So I just thought I'd bring you along and show you how I go about filling in these empty spaces with extra material from the back of the shirt that's not going to be used. I thought maybe this might be helpful for those of you who are making your own t-shirt quilts, and so let's go along and show you how I do it. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and separate the shirt from the back. Just cut along at this top edge, just like that, and then I'm going to grab right in the center and open up the shirt just like this. So now this is the front of the shirt and this is the back of the shirt, and I'm going to cut right up the center just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I do have a longer video showing how to cut your shirts apart. I'll put a link to that video in the description box because today we're not spending tons of time doing this part. But I'm basically just cutting this shirt right in half. And so you can see now I have a big chunk of t-shirt material that I can work with. And now we have the front side of this shirt just like that. So let me go heat up my iron. Today I'm going to be using a Pelon P44F as my interfacing, and I'm also going to be using some Elmer's glue. So let me go grab those things and get my iron nice and hot, and we'll be right back. Okay, now you can see I have my pressing board underneath the shirt. We're going to go ahead and turn this shirt so that the pretty side is facing down. And really at this point we are only concerned with this top portion of our shirt. Go ahead and just smooth it on out, and we are looking to fill in this area here and part of the neck area so that we can cut a square or rectangle shape out of this tank top. So I usually like working with the back side of the shirt or the bottom of the shirt, somewhere on the same shirt that is not going to be used in your block for your t-shirt quilt. And I like using the same shirt because it's going to blend right in, and once the quilt is all together and quilted, you will hardly even notice that we have done any alterations to this shirt. So the first thing before we stabilize this shirt is I'm going to find the right side of the shirt, and the shirt's got a little bit of bleach on it. Let's find a good part of the shirt that is not bleached. I think that section would work really good. I'm going to go ahead and just cut this and make it so that I can work with it a little bit easier. And we'll try not to include any of the bleached marks of the t-shirt. All right, there we go. Let me flatten this back out. So just like that. So now our scrap, this is the pretty side. The pretty side is going to be facing down just like this. We're going to add a little bit of glue right in on this seam. Now I am using an Elmer's glue wall. You could use Elmer's school glue. They both wash out of your quilt the first time you wash your quilt. And I'm just being generous with the glue and going right along the seams of this shirt. Just like that. And really what that is going to do is just hold this shirt or hold this seam down while we top stitch our shirt here in just a minute. Alright, pretty side facing down. I'm going to overlap this shirt and just smooth it all out, just like that. It's all nice and smooth, but I have not stretched anything. I'm just pressing it into place. I'm going to go ahead and dry this glue with a hot iron. My iron is set on the highest cotton setting, and you'll see some steam coming up. This is going to help dry the glue a little bit faster. And keep this shirt in place. Just like that. Now what I like to do is go in and remove some of this bulk from behind the shirt, because we all know that t-shirt quilts are already going to be heavy enough. So I'll just come within about a ½ inch of these seams and cut out all of this extra t-shirt material. Just like that. Now we have those extra bits out of the way. And now we can smooth this all out. And we're ready to add our interfacing. There we go. Again, I have a piece of Pelon P44F. There's all kinds of stabilizer out there. This one just happens to be my favorite. What we're going to do is we're going to lay the stabilizer with the bumpy side facing the t-shirt, and we're going to go ahead and press that into place. And I like to use just a scrap piece of fabric so I can really use some steam and bond that stabilizer to my t-shirt. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this part, fuse this interfacing down, and then we'll come back when we're ready to cut out our t-shirt block. Alright, I think that is all fused into place really, really well. The thicker seams of your t-shirt might take a little bit of extra time, and making sure to go around those so the interfacing is bonded really well. And now we can remove our pressing cloths. You can see it should look just like this. Now let's flip this over. And now you can see we have a much wider area that we can work with. Because we use the same shirt, it's all really blending in very well. You can kind of see at this point, once this shirt is in your quilt, you're going to have a really hard time telling that we've added this material in the empty spaces. Now you can go ahead and cut out your square to whatever size that you are using for your block. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to meet at the sewing machine. I'm going to show you how to permanently keep your neckline and your arm lines in place. They're there with glue for right now, but we want to go ahead and stitch them down. Okay, here we are at the sewing machine. I've already cut out my block, and it's all nice and pretty. I'm going to show you some pictures right here. This is my overall block, and you can see that these pieces just blend in really well. And I'll show you a couple of close-ups of what the seams actually look like so you can get a good idea of how it looks at this point. And now we're ready to go ahead and permanently stitch down our seams right in the arm area and the neck area. Now I've already set the settings on my machine, and I'm going to be using a blanket stitch. If you are using a zigzag stitch or a satin stitch to permanently stitch down your seams, you might want to use like a tearaway stabilizer on the back side to keep your stitches from skipping and to keep everything nice and flat. I'm going to go ahead and line up my needle and bring it in right next to this seam. I have some black thread in the top and in my bobbin, and I'm ready to just go ahead and sew right along this seam. My fingers might be in the way. Right along that seam. I'm actually stitching the straight part of the stitch into this background area that we filled in, and when the needle comes over to the left, it's grabbing a bite out of the original shirt seam. I really like that stitch because it's a lot less noticeable in the quilt. And your blanket stitch is not a very dense stitch, and you can even lower the tension on your top so everything lays nice and flat. And you can see right there, I'll do a close-up picture right here of what that looks like, and it all just blends right in with the shirt. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the neck area and this other seam, and then we'll meet back when I'm all done. And here we are, our finished block for our t-shirt quilt. All nice and square, and we were able to use the top part of the shirt by filling in the neck area and the arm area with the same parts of the shirt. So I hope that this gives you some ideas on how to use logos that are really close to your neck area, or if you're using a tank top and you'd like to center your logo a little bit more into the block, then maybe you can give this tip a try. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you really soon. Bye everyone.